Pocketparks next on City Corner.
I see an empty lot and I see opportunity. I'm a designer turned entrepreneur turned change maker. I wanted to do something where I could use my design and problem-solving skills for social impact work. Pocketparks is a nonprofit that takes vacant lots and transforms them into beautiful, active, recreational spaces for the community. And each of our parks incorporates three things: art, activation, and opportunity, all influenced by community. So I tell people, yes, this is a parks project, but it's really much more than that. It's about weaving vibrancy into our urban fabric. It's about building up the ecosystems of our communities to inspire pride, increase safety, and build up the local economy. What's the best part? We're small and resourceful, making change in weeks and not years. Pocketparks, small parks, big impact.
Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome to City Corner. Well, you've just seen a great video that introduces Pocketparks. It's a relatively new nonprofit that takes and reimagines and redevelops unused plots of land and turns it into beautiful and active recreational areas. It's also the nonprofit's first birthday this month, and so what better time to learn more about Pocketparks? I'm now joined by the founder and president, Samantha Lee Smugala. My words are getting jumbled up right now, but thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And I guess I should say happy anniversary or happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes, we were founded on January 22nd, and it will be our first birthday. So I'm excited to celebrate everything that we've done over the last year and continue on into 2022.
And what a great year. I mean, I feel like I heard the name Pocketparks throughout, heard it on the media here and there, be certain events that I would hear. And I just think it's such a great story. What I love with your marketing video that you have is you talk about being a change maker. And I think it's so great when we look around St. Louis to see people who are making change. So I want to know how this all came about. You're the founder of the nonprofit and how this all came about. So start me off with, how did this idea? You're just kind of walking around, or did you already know about Pocketparks in different cities?
So my background is in interior design, and so I'm always kind of sketching and ideating about space. And during the pandemic, you could see that the city was just very desolate and empty and really gray looking. And I was searching for a way to create some vibrancy. And this first started as sort of a street activation project. How can we get people outside to enjoy public space? And then I realized through the Vacancy Collaborative that vacancy is an enormous problem in St. Louis. There's over 25,000 vacancies. And so I thought, hey, let's kill two birds with one stone and develop small parks on these vacant lots that people can utilize, activate. They're multi-purpose spaces. So if a coffee shop needs overflow seating, there's some space next door. Or if a community organization wants to host an event there, they can. So I started doing these sketches, and I realized going through my phone that I've done a lot of sketches of outdoor space. And so finally I decided, let's do something with it.
Wow. And so to go from an idea to a full-fledged nonprofit, it's not an easy thing to do. So I mean, where did you go from the sketches and then saying, how do I get access to this plot of land, as we talked about, unused land, and do something with it? Do you go through permissions with the city, or how does it all work?
Sure. Yeah, it's different with every parcel of land.
Okay.
So there are certain parcels that are owned by the city, and you can reach out to the Land Reutilization Authority to get a garden lease or actually set out to purchase that lot. So that's one way of accessing space. And then another way is if there's a private owner, just reaching out to that owner directly and asking them if they want to support our mission. And even if it's a temporary lease, we like to at least have 5 years on the space, so that way our investment is actually impacting the community. But that's another way that we go about finding space, is directly through private ownership. And then there are certain organizations who own space where we get a permission to access. and we set up an agreement that's mutually beneficial, and they allow us to come and do something impactful there.
Yeah, and with the name Pocket Parks, so Pocket Parks are, it's funny because they do exist. They're in Europe and across the U.S., but I don't think people really think about the name actually. Were you just like Pocket Parks because they are pocket parks? There are pocket parks in cities, or how did you come about with the name for the nonprofit?
Well, it's not a new idea, I should say. And so the whole idea of pocket parks I had heard of before, but usually it's 2 words. And when I was researching, I was like, oh, that's, it's obvious what it is. And so through my branding experience, I know that a good company name is very clear, and you know what it is exactly when you read it. And combining those 2 words just made sense.
Yeah.
So I can't take credit for the concept of pocket parks, but the name just seemed to flow, and it really, people gravitate towards it.
Sure. No, and it perfectly describes when you've got slithers or, and just small plot of land. So let's talk about, we've been showing some pictures of some of your development, but let's talk about the parks. So 1 year, you already have, is it 6 parks?
4 parks.
4 parks,
Yep.
okay. So 4 parks, so tell me kind of how this, how you pick those pieces of land. We'll look at some photos too.
Sure.
And sort of the projects that you decided to do there, the work that you decided to do there.
Well, our first park is downtown at 10th and Locust, and that park was a privately owned property that we reached out to the owner, and they supported our mission. So after we did our first park, it really just started becoming about the communities reaching out to us, and they were interested in our mission and interested in us coming in and helping them do the same thing. So we don't like to, just push our mission into, places that we think that it would be impactful. We really want the community to approach us and to believe in what we're doing and really support the project. It's important to us that the community is totally engaged, and they really get to decide what the design of that park ends up being. So that engagement and that feedback that we're able to gather helps us to kind of determine what the park will be. But our first park, we actually did make the first step. And then after that, it was kind of like dominoes falling, and different communities got excited and reached out to us. So now we have 3 other parks, one in Laclede's Landing. It's underneath the MLK Bridge. And then our third park was the Cortex Park, which is actually, I wouldn't call it a pocket park. It's about 2 acres of land. It's fairly large. But we do simple things there, like planting a sunflower field, just to activate the space so it's not vacant.
Yeah, we actually have some, that's as you're talking about the Cortex spot, we have that video. You shared some great video footage that you had of the sort of before and after. So we put that together, and we can kind of run that while we talk about it. But you're right, the video of the sunflower field, it is quite large. So that is Cortex owned property that we're looking at? That's
Yes, it is.
So this is your before. And I definitely recognize that lot. So you planted all the sunflowers then?
We did, yes. We had a landscaping company come out and plant these sunflowers and really just kind of transform the space in a very small way. And I really believe that's what our organization has gotten good at, is what can we do with limited resources to make impact now versus waiting years with extensive plans and designs that aren't easy to accomplish. And we try to really work with what we have. So smaller, maybe a more lean model, but we're able to work within weeks instead of years.
Right. No, and I love you say in your video, making change in weeks, not years, which is so, because it can take, if you try to go through the process of all the permits and all of this and doing a big plot of land, it can take a long time. But it sounds like you're able, to do 4 parks in 1 year. That's really a lot of work, and in a short period of time.
Yeah, we look at each plot of land and we ask ourselves as a team, what's feasible? What can we afford to do? What can we really fundraise around? And we try to come up with simple solutions that are highly impactful. At our downtown park, we just painted a simple rainbow color spectrum mural, and it cost $1,000. It took us a few hours to do it, but it completely changes the look of that block. So things like that, we're trying to be smart and work faster to create immediate impact versus, having it be something that takes a long time and it's an expansive amount of effort.
I love the whole concept and how you're working it too, because when you mentioned fundraising too, I mean, if you sometimes have to raise a lot of money, that can extend a project, and it might be a whole year that you're working on something. So are you constantly then, you and your team and volunteers, always looking to have projects funded then? Can donors like underwrite a certain project, or is it just contributing altogether to the nonprofit, or both?
Both, yeah. So we have campaigns that are for each individual park. If you'd like to donate for a specific park, you absolutely can. Or if you just donate to our general campaign, that just goes towards whatever park is in need. We also make sure that these parks stay maintained. So that's super helpful when we're trying to, honestly ask the question, how do we sustain? Because we don't want to create another burden in neighborhoods. So maintaining the parks and keeping them clean and active is very important to us. So that's usually what the general fund goes towards, is maintenance.
And then we're going to plug, before we go to break, something called where it's Vote for Your Park, and it's on your website. What is Vote for Your Park? When
Vote
people head
for
to
your
your
park,
site.
yes. So that's a tool that we use, just an online survey for people who are interested in giving us feedback. And we really appreciate feedback from the residents who are closest to the park. We want to make sure it's something that they're interested in using, that they really want in their neighborhood. So we have a couple of different surveys on there, and we keep these surveys up because sometimes needs and wants change. So you can vote for the downtown park, you can vote for Laclede's Landing, and we've added the Cortex because we're doing phase 2 this year at the Cortex, and a new park that we're working on is in the Hyde Park neighborhood.
Oh, fantastic.
So we're just launching that whole design campaign and working with the neighborhood to get community feedback, but that survey is on there as well.
Oh, that's great. Well, I want to delve more into the community aspect, because I know that's really important, and so much, you already alluded to it, so much of what the work that you do is really specific to the community and being part of the community, and the community being a part of your work. So we're going to get into that when we go to break, when we come back from break. But really quickly, up on the screen, I'm going to throw up there a full-page graphic of how you can get in touch with Pocketparks if you're interested in volunteering. That graphic is for the Vote for Your Park, so you can head to the website and learn more about Vote for Your Park. And then if you just want to follow them on social media, there's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but head to pocketparks.co and learn all about everything that they're doing. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Pocketparks. Stay with us.
There's so many reasons to love St. Louis, you can't pick just one. From the arts, architecture, and culture. An all-new development, including the Cortex Community Center. And you're never too far from great music and entertainment.
So come and experience St. Louis.
If you smoked, this new lung cancer screening could save your life. Visit SaveByTheScan.org.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I had something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice. and learned all the way I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
The Missouri Botanical Garden is loved by green thumbs and non-gardening types alike because you can play. You can relax. And there's always something new to experience, no matter the time of day or the season. And learn about conservation and one-of-a-kind plants. So come and experience St. Louis.
Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome back to City Corner. Today, I am talking with Samantha Lee Smugala, who is the founder and president of Pocketparks, which just celebrated the first anniversary or first birthday. Do I say
First birthday?
First birthday. So I really love, again, the work that you and your team are doing. We should mention, too, which you just happened to mention over break, everyone, this is completely volunteer-based so far.
It is,
Wow.
yes. We have an amazing team of 9 volunteers and 5 board members who do so much work to make this happen. So I could not be more thankful for them, because if it wasn't for them, none of this would have happened.
Oh my gosh. So how did you, in getting all your board members and volunteers, is it just word of mouth? It was friends of yours? I mean, how to come together with all this in a year that's lightning speed in the nonprofit world. So I mean, did people they just love the mission and just kind of signed up?
Yeah, and some of them I had known before, some are friends, and others were just people who were really excited and reached out and said, I want to do this with you. Mm-hmm. And really it's just been, like I said, I'm just so thankful for all of them, and our team members all really vibe and click, and I think that's so important, just having that culture and response to what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. So,
And when you have the projects that you're doing, so we're going to pull up some video of the one that you did in the Central West End, and I think
West
that one
End.
is or the West. Okay, West End, and it is Sidewalk. You can tell me more about it as we look at the footage. So, is that people on your board and or volunteers just from the public who decided to come on board to help? How does that all work?
Yeah. So this park was. Really, the community members reached out to us and said that they wanted to do something here. So the community was already super involved and had been planning on a park here for a while. They just needed sort of a vehicle to make it happen. And I'm so happy with this park and how it's turned out, but really the community stepped up, and we had so many members and residents come out to help us. And even the contractor is a resident of the West End. Wow. So a lot of people here, you can see painting the sidewalk. We were painting a playful learning landscape, which really is just an opportunity for parents or mentors to take children and use as a hopscotch, or ask them to find the square or the circle. So there's a learning aspect in there as well. But it really goes along with some of the sculptures that STL Artworks contributed to the park, and we've got this whole, kind of blue concept and color scheme going that I think turned out really well. So everyone's welcome to look at our website and see what volunteer opportunities are available. We're posting things all the time, and our parks are kind of in hibernation right now just due to winter, but we're gonna be posting a whole volunteer schedule, and we've really had a lot of support from residents, from people who have heard about us through media, and I could not be more thankful for all the people who want to make this happen.
Yeah, no, you can really, there's such authenticity here, and you really see that, and I think that's probably what attracts people. And I again come back to this, you mentioned a lot, and I was on your website, community driven, because I think people might look at this and say, oh, that's cool, it's a parks project, but it's much more than that. There's the whole social impact and being connected to your community. Talk a bit more about the social impact of what having greenery and green space means, especially in an urban environment.
Absolutely. So honestly, I don't think people realize how impactful parks are. And I say all the time that I really think the city gets its personality from outdoor space, from its public space. Because once you're inside of a building, you're now experiencing that space. But when you think of a city, when you think of St. Louis, when you think of a neighborhood, you think about the outdoor space. And it can boost pride and respect for communities. It can even inspire, civic trust for what the city's missions are. And having access to beautiful, active space is equitable as well. Everyone deserves to have beautiful public space. So we do have 3 things that we try to incorporate in every park, and that's artwork, activation, and opportunity. And artwork not only acts as beautification, it also sort of becomes a reflection of the community. We find local artists, it has some sort of like identity and really can inspire some, pride, I would say. And then the activation is we really want to keep these spaces active. What's the reason people are going to the park? Because active spaces are safer spaces. So making sure that we have activity, whether it is room for games or a farmer's market, or we're planning pizza in the park this year, is super important, so that way we have a lot of foot traffic happening. And that goes into opportunity, because the more foot traffic we have, the more we can indirectly influence local economy, the more that various neighborhood organizations or businesses can use that space or activate it. Maybe we have a little concert in the park and pay an ode towards local musicians. So that opportunity really is endless when you think about it. So those are the 3 pillars of our parks that we really try to incorporate, and it's all through that community feedback. So filling out surveys, attending community meetings, and making sure that all of the residents who are nearby have a say firsthand in what we're going to put there.
Oh, it's fantastic. Is right now, is your focus on the city, like city of St. Louis, or are you doing moving into the county at all, or is it? I mean, I know the idea is urban areas, but I was just curious because St. Louis is divided up in an interesting way, but so far you're focusing on the city?
So far the city, but we're not opposed to moving into other areas. I think it just depends on who reaches out and what the needs are. We actually created somewhat of a metrics rubric to analyze space and look at the site and see, how feasible is this, and what are the metrics for success here? Does this community is this something they really need, or is there another community who might be, more in need or might be more feasible? So we do run some diagnostics, if you will, on location, and we look at the surrounding area, how walkable, how bikeable, how many local amenities, where are the transit stops, where are the schools, where is crime happening, and we try to determine the most logical place for that park to make the most impact.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You mentioned some of the upcoming events, so I want to be sure in the time that we have to talk about what you have planned for 2022, especially what's great about this is it can be outdoors. So once we get past this phase in the pandemic, you can do stuff outdoors. So what do we have? Talk about your collaboration with the YMCA.
The YMCA has been a great partner. I'm so excited to have them on board, and they actually hosted some yoga in the Duck Park this past year.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to be doing more of those Saturday stretches, or Sunday stretches is what we're calling them, with the YMCA, and potentially even other fitness programs and boot camps. So the YMCA is definitely going to be highly involved. And we're also working with a local pizza catering company to do pizza in the parks. And we're planning a few other fun things as well, a bike ride with TrailNet. Oh, nice. We'll be doing something for Earth Day. So there's a lot of things in the works right now. And we are planning for one new park this year, which is in Hyde Park. And I'm trying to think of other things. There's a lot of art collaborations going to be happening in the new park as well as our existing parks. So we're excited to be working with folks like the Regional Arts Commission, Traveling Light. There's a lot of really amazing artists out there. So I tell everyone we can be the canvas. If there are artists or designers who are interested in helping us or designing a park with us or having their art in the park, we will welcome them with open arms.
Right, and it does seem like there would be endless opportunities because there could be permanent installations, but also temporary ones, and switching that. How's the response been with the artist community?
I think a lot of people are really excited about this, and kind of figuring out right now, like, how do we work together? What's a good opportunity? But everybody art is a really beautiful thing that I think a lot of people can get on board with. And even lighting in that last photo can be a version of art. So
yeah, no, with the light installations, and that looks like some of your for your sponsors and for your donors. Where do you see this going? I mean, it's clearly picked up a lot of momentum, and you've had a hugely successful first year, and that's great. There's something when there's that buzz from the community when they want to latch on to a project that's really special. So where do you see this going, especially since you've been volunteering this long?
I'm really hoping that the nonprofit grows into a larger, a more expansive nonprofit with employees that we can make sure that we're sustaining and providing jobs for people who take care of the parks as well. And I do see that happening. And some people will ask, well, how many parks do you want? Or are you going to move into different cities or locations? And we're open to all of that. I think it just depends on, we want to make sure that we're providing impact. And as long as we're doing that, we're doing our job.
Yeah. Well, is there anything you want to add on this closing? We've got like a couple minutes before we close, but anything with potential sponsors or people, we've talked about volunteers. If people want to get involved, they go to your website. But anything as it connects to potential donors or sponsors, how they can get involved. You've alluded to that, I think, a bit in the first segment, but anything else there you want to add?
Yeah, we always are welcoming donors, corporate sponsorship. We have a whole fundraising packet I'd be happy to send over. And anyone who's interested in learning more, they can email us at info@pocketparks.co, and we can inform them about the current projects and needs. And because it is our birthday, we're going to be sending out a small campaign where you can learn how to sign up for Pocket Parks at your Amazon Smile account.
Oh, fantastic.
So that helps us as well. And we have a charity list on there. So if you want to buy us a birthday present, we've got some physical items that will be shipped directly to Pocket Parks.
Oh, that's a great way to support Pocket Parks. It's just really been great. I've been wanting to talk to you for some time. So thank you so much for joining us in studio and being here. And congratulations, happy birthday, and just success for the next coming years. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, we've got information there for you on the screen so you can reach out to Pocket Parks, follow them on social media, learn about volunteer opportunities, get your hands in the dirt, literally, not just figuratively there. But you can also vote for your park. If you are out in the community and you want them to come to your community, to your neighborhood, head to the website there and check out their Vote for Your Park page. But just all the information is there on your website. A great website, by the way. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. And thank you at home for watching, and keep it right here on STL TV Experience St. Louis.